Blessings on my pretty innocence, dressed out as usual, I see. Goodness, what a quantity of superfluous silk you have got about you, girl. I never could teach the fools of this age that the indigent world could be clothed out of the trimmings of the vain.
You know our agreement, sir. You allow me the morning to receive and pay visits, and to dress in my own manner, and in the evening I put on my housewife's dress to please you.
Well, remember, I insist on the terms of our agreement, and by the by, I believe I shall have opportunity to try your obedience this very evening.
I protest, sir, I don't comprehend your meaning.
Then, to be plain with you, Kate, I expect the young man whom I have chosen to be your husband from town this very evening. I have his father's letter in which he informs me that he has already set out and that he intends to follow shortly after.
Indeed? I wish I had known something of this before. Bless me, how shall I behave? It's 1,000 to 1 I shan't like him. Our meeting will be so much like a thing of business that I shall find no room for friendship or esteem.
Depend upon it, child, I'll not control your choice, but Mr. Marlowe is the son of my old friend, Sir Charles Marlowe, of whom you have heard me speak of so often. The young man has been bred a scholar and is being designed for employment in the service of his country.
Is he?
Very generous.
I believe I shall like him.
Young and brave.
I know I shall like him.
And handsome.
My dear Papa, say no more. He is mine. I'll have him.
And to crown it all, Kate, he is one of the most bashful and reserved young fellows in all the world.
You have frozen me to death again. That word reserved has undone all the rest of his accomplishments. A reserved lover, it is said, always makes a suspicious husband.
On the contrary, Kate, modesty seldom resides in a breast that is not already imbued with nobler virtues. It was this very feature in him that first struck me.
Well, he must have more striking features to catch me, I promise you. However, if he be so young and so handsome and so everything else you mentioned, I believe he'll do still.
Well, there is still one obstacle. It's more than an even wager that he might not have you.
My dear Papa, why will you mortify one so? Well, if he refuses, instead of breaking my heart at his indifference, I'll only break my glass for its flattery, set my cap to some newer fashion, and look out for some less difficult admirer.
Bravely resolved. In the meantime, I have to go and prepare the servants for her. As we seldom see company, they want as much training as a company of recruits on the first day's muster.
But this news of Papa's puts me all in a flutter. Young and handsome. These he put last, but I put them foremost. Sensible, good-natured, I like all that, but then reserved and sheepish. It's much against him. Yet, can't he be cured of his timidity by being taught to be proud of his wife? Yes, and can't I? But I vow, I'm disposing of the husband before I've secured the lover. Then you come, Neville, my dear. Tell me, Constance, how do I look this evening? Is there anything whimsical about me? Is it one of my well-looking days? Am I faced today?
Perfectly, my dear. Yet now I look again. Bless me, sure no accident has happened among the canary birds or the goldfishes. Has your brother or the cat been meddling? Or has the last novel been too moving?
No, and nothing of all this. I have been threatened. I can scarce get it out. I have been threatened with a lover.
And his name?
It is Marlowe.
Indeed.
The son of Sir Charles Marlowe.
Oh, as I live, the most intimate friend of Mr. Hastings, my admirer. They are never asunder. I believe you must have seen him when we lived in town.
Never.
He's a very singular character, I assure you. Among women of reputation and virtue, he is the modestest man alive. But his acquaintance give him a rather different character among creatures of another sort. You understand me?
An odd character indeed. I shall never be able to manage him. What shall I do? Pshaw, think no more of it, but trust to occurrences for success. But how goes mother been courting you for my brother Tony as usual?
I have just come from one of our little tete-a-tetes. She has been saying 100 tender things and setting off her pretty monster as the very pink of perfection.
And her partiality is such that she actually thinks him so. A fortune like yours is no small temptation, and as she has the sole management of it, I'm not surprised to see her so unwilling to let it go out of the family.
A fortune like mine, which chiefly consists in jewels, is no such mighty temptation. But at any rate, if my hastings be but constant, I make no doubt but to be too hard for her at last. However, I let her suppose that I am in love with her son, and she never once dreams that my affections are fixed upon another.
My good brother holds out stoutly. I could almost love him for hating you so.
It's a good-natured creature at bottom, and I'm sure would wish to see me married to anybody but himself. But my aunt's bell rings for our afternoon's walk around the improvements. Along. Courage is necessary, for our affairs are critical.
Oh, but it were bedtime and all